Hello everyone and welcome back to my opinion. And India have won this game by 6 wickets with 22 overs to spare and resounding victory on their 1000th ODI. And so before I continue, I know this video is going up on the later side because tomorrow is the 9th when the second ODI starts, and I actually tried to record on the 6th itself, but I usually record my videos at night, and after I ate dinner on that day I didn't really feel that great, and so because of that I kind of couldn't record on that day, and I've only kind of really been able to record now. So I'm sorry about that, and this will kind of be a thing where I think it was I did this video after the first test in India's tour of South Africa, and that time it was for technical reasons where I kind of the content of the video won't really change. I'll kind of just do a slight preview into the rest of the series as the next ODI is starting tomorrow. But this is something that could have been avoided, and so I'm sorry about that. But getting into this game, Rohit Sharma won the toss and chose to bowl first. And looking at this Indian side, there were 5 players who you would say aren't really regular features in India's ODI setup. Those players being Mohammad Siraj, Prasidh Krishna, Ishan Kishan, Washington Sundar, and the debutant Deepak Hooda. So those 5 players were given an opportunity today, and the thing is, in the opening bowlers being Mohammad Siraj and Prasidh Krishna, and Shea Hope and Brandon King were the openers for the West Indies. And so it was kind of a steady start by the West Indies, and look, this opening partnership didn't last long in terms of runs or overs, and there were quite a few dot balls, but they got a few boundaries away to maintain that kind of mid to low run rate. And the first wicket was of Shea Hope off the bowling of Mohammad Siraj. Now, this is a fashion in which I've seen Shea Hope get out many times. It's the one where he tries to play the cover drive, and then he kind of gets outplayed on. And in this case, the previous 2 deliveries from Siraj were outswingers, and both those were hit for 4 through cover by Shea Hope. And the next one was bowled as a scrambled seam, and the ball nipped back in, and he got outplayed on for 8 off 10. The next wicket was Brandon King. Now, there's a soft dismissal when Washington Sundar bowled the ball, and he kind of propped it up to mid-wicket. I don't remember how Darren Bravo got out, but he scored 18 off 34, and then Nicholas Pooran with 18 off 25, LBW bowled Chahal. Now, West Indies were in a spot of bother at 71 for 4, and the next 3 wickets fell for 8 runs, and they were kind of doomed at that point. But the 5th wicket, so I'm honestly not surprised that Kieron Pollard got out for a first ball duck in that situation, because one, he's not the greatest against leg spin, and I personally think he didn't pick the googly, and the shot that he played may indicate that, because he tried to go over cover, and he got bowled. And the other thing was that, in retrospect, I actually think Jason Holder would have been a better option to walk out in that position and that situation, because but in this game he played very well anyway, 57, and he played Chahal quite well. And another thing is that you wouldn't really say that Kieron Pollard has the... Would you say, especially in an ODI game, would you say he's the kind of player to kind of dig the team out of a situation like a 71 for 4 and 18, 19 overs? You wouldn't. And already not being the strongest against leg spin, I just feel like Jason Holder, we've seen him do this many times for the West Indies, where he rescues the team from a spot of bother. And that's the thing, is just the fact that he would have probably been a better player, the option to send out in that situation. And I actually thought that if he had a partnership for the 5th wicket, and then a few more of the overs of spin were taken up, Kieron Pollard could have walked in with mostly the pacers bowling at him. So that was that. And I'm not actually surprised that Kieron Pollard got out at all. I understand why he walked in, because he's a captain and he would have wanted to kind of lead by example, but I just think Jason Holder would have been a better option there. So that's on that. And I have no idea why they sent out Akil Hussain instead of Fabian Allen, because it was kind of, he got out for 0 off 3, and West Indies was 79 for 7. And just like in the Under-19 World Cup final, the 8th wicket partnership proved to bring some respectability to the total, despite the total being quite a low one, with Jason Holder 57 off 71 and Fabian Allen 29 off 43. And the thing is, they played very well, and both would have been disappointed with the dismissals, the way in which Jason Holder was caught behind, and also the soft dismissal for Fabian Allen when he kind of got out caught on board off the bowling of Washington Sundar. But honestly, those who hadn't played the way they did, then this total would have been incredibly low. So yeah, that was on that. 176 overall, and India would have been very happy. The bowling figures: Siraj 1 for 26 and 8, Prasidh Krishna 2 for 29 and 10. Washington Sundar and Chahal, they ran the show 7 for 79 in between them in 18.5 overs. Washington Sundar 3 for 30, and I think it was Chahal 4 for 49, 9.5. Sorry. Thakur had a bit of an off day, none for 38 in 7 overs. It was a bit expensive, and I actually think in that partnership, they actually took to Chahal and Thakur, and I think even Chahal kind of went to 5 and over. Look, the performance is still match winning, 4 for 49, but it's in that partnership. I think they kind of got runs off those bowlers to bring some respectability to the total. But yeah, that's on that, and India would have been very happy. Now, before I go on to the second innings, I'd like to talk about a few things. So, Shai Hope. Now, he's one of my favourite players to watch in ODI cricket, and you could say over the last 2 years, things haven't really been going well for him, but still his ODI record is intact because of how well he did before. And I think in 2019 especially, if you look at the player who I'm going to compare him with the fact that the roles that they played for their teams, anchoring the innings in ODI cricket, and also their averages as well, which are in the 50s, you could have actually compared Shai Hope and Babar Azam in ODI cricket. Now, despite the fact that those two don't necessarily have a great T20 game as of now, the thing with Babar Azam, and you can even put Joe Root in this category, is that they are extremely successful in ODI and Test cricket. Now, the problem with Shai Hope is that he struggles in both extremes of the game, in T20 cricket and in Test cricket, and the only thing he does is anchor the innings in ODI cricket, which in the last 2 years or so, and I've seen him get out this way many times. He kind of tries to play the cover drive and kind of plays the ball onto his stumps. And his innings nowadays just consists of hitting a few cover drives and then getting out, trying to play the cover drive. So I think he just has to kind of develop a bit more to his game, I think, for 2 reasons. One, look, I think that developing a bit more would make him be more, and certainly I'd say I could even say this for Babar Azam and Joe Root. I think kind of being a bit more than an anchor in their ODI sides will certainly kind of give them. They'll be able to do more things and affect the game more, despite the fact that they do have great records as of even doing what they do in ODI cricket. And the second thing kind of relates to Shai Hope, because if you look at if you say someone's not like a player for the shortest form of the game, I know T10's coming up, but if we stick to T20, if they're not kind of suited for the shortest format of the game, you'd say, right, they're longer format players. So you have 50 over cricket and Test cricket where they have more time to bat. And in both those, in 50 over cricket, you can have that one player, number 3, let's say, that kind of anchors the innings. And then you have who the others bat around, especially during that middle phase. And in Test cricket, honestly, you can take as much time as you want. And Babar Azam and Joe Root are extremely successful in both formats. But I feel like with Shai Hope's case, if you're not suited for the shortest format of the game, which is completely fine, it has to be ODIs and Tests. Now, I know it's not relating to this game, but I'm just saying his batting as a whole. If you only rely on anchoring the innings in ODIs, and then that doesn't go well for you, you're kind of in a bit of a limbo where you have nowhere to go unless you get this one thing right. And I know they've given him in ODIs, they've kind of given him chances. But sooner or later, if someone else I think they should persist with him because I think he's a brilliant player. But if the thing is, we've seen him, especially in 2019, for me, especially in ODI cricket, he's a brilliant player to watch. But he has to develop more to his game. And I'm not saying I'm sure that he can, but I'm saying that he has to develop more to his game to, one, be more effective in this format, just for kind of the betterment to his already good record. And also the fact that, just it will also help him in Test cricket. But also his main thing now is getting back to form in this format of the game. And I'm sure that he can do it. But as I said, it's kind of a limbo that he has, where you wouldn't really put him as a longer format player, because he struggles in the longest format, he struggles in the shortest format, and right now it's just anchoring things in ODIs. And if you have a bad run in that, then you kind of you don't really know where you can go. So yeah, that's on him. He's a brilliant player, and I hope that he kind of gets back to what we saw in 2019 at least. And so then there's Nicholas Pooran. Now, Nicholas Pooran, I actually don't think he got into this kind of a slump because of bad batting. I actually think that the first 6, I think he's got 28 runs in 6 innings in the IPL. I actually saw the way he got out. He kind of hit the ball straight to the fielder. He didn't really play bad shots. I still think he can improve playing the short ball. And he hit I remember, I think he got caught in, I think, kind of a deep backwards square, kind of a deep backward square leg kind of a position. A deep square leg, or a little bit finer. He kind of was playing the pull shot or the hook shot, and the pull shot, sorry, and then he got caught. It's kind of those kind of dismissals where you won't really say that he's been playing badly, but I think with each kind of unlucky dismissal, you could say, as they kept on piling up, I think his brain got a bit scrambled, and I think right now that's what you're seeing. It's not because of someone who's not really, as far as just his cricket goes, you can't really say that anything's wrong with it. It's just the fact that I think his brain has been scrambled because of the slumps that actually was created due to kind of an unlucky run of dismissals, and then the kind of the bad decisions started coming in, where then he just hits the ball to the fielders. And in this case, he got out for Abu Dhabi. So, I just think that it's kind of a product of a few low scores, which you wouldn't really say were entirely his fault. But I hope that he still gets back to kind of he did quite well in the T20 series against England. But as far as ODI cricket is concerned, look, I mean, the best innings I've seen him play is in ODIs is because that 75 against India in 2019, where he kind of played that shot off his pads. He kind of played that wristy shot over square leg for 6 of Mohammad Shami, where even the bowler was appreciating the shot. And so, I really think that that's the Pooran that I've seen in ODI cricket. So, I hope that he can get back to that, and I'm sure that he will. And so, that's on that. And if you actually look at another person, actually, what I want to talk about is because he's not, now this doesn't relate to this game, but Shimron Hetmyer. Now, he's let the team down because he hasn't really, he's had quite some few fitness issues, and they were completely right to not pick him for this series based on that. But I hope they keep it consistent, because as we've seen, especially in recent times, when some players that have been picked, let's say, you'd kind of question whether they pass the fitness test. So again, it's very good that they're doing it for Hetmyer, but they have to keep it consistent all around the board, because Hetmyer has to still get back to kind of the acceptable level of fitness. He's a brilliant player. West Indies cricket needs him. And that's on him. I really hope that he can kind of get back to kind of the acceptable level of fitness, and honestly not miss tours because of this reason in the future. And if you actually look at India's bowlers, now after this I'm going to talk about the second innings. If you actually look at India's bowlers, the 3 seamers that they played, Prasidh Krishna, Mohammad Siraj and Untitled Chapter. Now, playing all those 3 in the same white ball team is a risk. And I actually think in this case, look, if you look at all these 3, right, they're part of the handful of bowlers who've come up from India. You can even put Nagarkoti and Mavi in this as well, where they're not natural white ball bowlers. And they kind of learnt that. They've been learning that trade, in the process of learning that trade. And you could say Shardul Thakur especially has learnt it better than the other 2. They are red ball bowlers by nature. And I think that that's the reason why we have seen that, and it may not be the complete reason, but I'm just saying that even if you look at Mohammad Shami as well, I know that he played in 2015 in the ODIs as well, but yeah, even if I don't say him, these three especially are in kind of emerged in the recent times are kind of red ball bowlers by nature who've been looking to take to white ball cricket. Thakur has had success despite being expensive, but the other two you see, they're good kind of up. Look, it's kind of a Thakur, Siraj, and Prasidh Krishna in that order. Where Siraj, you've seen him have success with the new ball, but he struggled with the death. And Prasidh Krishna's kind of been while there has been promise, he's kind of been expensive all round, and has also struggled at the death as well. So yeah. I actually think that if you saw the pitch conditions today, and the other two ODIs are being played, I think in the same venue, in the same at the same time as well. So if the conditions remain exactly the same, it will be hard to bat. And I really think that I think Rohit Sharma had faith that, especially if they bowl first, this wouldn't get to the death overs, but they could just pretty much go all out, where there are pressures for the spinners, and the spinners will take wickets. Also, I think that the bowlers did a really good job, especially Mohammad Siraj and Prasidh Krishna did a really good job in just hitting a length up top. And yeah, I actually think that if the conditions are the same, and if the games are going to go the same way, where I meant that if conditions are hard to bat, and I'm actually going to get to the point that I just kind of, if the games are going to go the same way after I talk about the second innings. But the thing is, I actually think that because if they thought, they had the belief that they actually wouldn't let the innings go to the death overs, and they didn't. So in that case, picking this attack actually worked well for them, as you saw pretty much. I know Thakur was a bit expensive. Every other bowler had a really good outing. And so, yeah, I actually think that picking this attack in this situation wasn't such a bad thing at all. And so now, finally, I'm going to go on to the Indian innings. So Rohit Sharma came back into the side, and Konasi left off where he kind of continued from where he left off, 60 or 51. And Ishan Kishan, who, again, I hope Rahul in the next ODI comes back to opening the batting. I think those two opening the batting has to be the mainstay for Indian cricket. But if you look at Ishan Kishan, now he was brought into the team to clearly give the impetus up top. Now in this innings, he probably didn't do that, but he still played, considering it's his first time opening the batting in ODIs, I believe. He did quite a good job, 28 of 36. He thought that it could be the case where he could just go slam bang. It clearly wasn't the case, and considering it is the first time, it's just not going to be every time where it's going to be the case where you can just go slam bang from the very start. So yeah, I actually think the 28 of 36 for the first time they're kind of playing that role, I think it was still good. Kohli, now, here's the thing. It was a very strange innings. 8 of 4 balls. Now, the first ball, I actually think that, look, it was a ball that could have ended up. It was a good delivery from Azari Joseph, and it was a combination of a bit of luck and also the fact that he kind of played it with relatively soft hands. So it went through the slip cone when there were, I believe there was no one there in that kind of gap that it went through, and it went for 4. And then the next ball, it was kind of a shot that he played, an aerial shot over point for 4. And then in the fourth ball, tries to take the short ball on and then gets caught at the boundary room. So a very odd innings from Kohli. But I must say, now this, you may think this is incredibly biased, and it may be, but I'm saying that, obviously, look, people who are saying that he kind of isn't in a great state of mind, I think he's a bit like one, I think he's just trying to get used to things again. It's a different dynamic, and okay, I don't really think it will affect his batting, and it isn't. But I clearly think that, his dismissals, let's say, have been a bit kind of fidgety. But I don't actually think there's anything with him batting in general. But it's the kind of fact that I'm actually going to say something where seeing him walk out to bat now he isn't involved in the leadership at all. And I actually think now it's not like his body language was bad before, but he actually is in the field and in kind of with bat in hand. He actually seems at least 3 years younger. And I just think there's also for the hat-trick ball for Chahal, he was standing at short leg. And I know he scored 8 of 4. You could say his dismissal had been fidgety. But as I said, his batting isn't fidgety. And also, the fact is, and look, he's whatever people are saying, he scored 51 and 65 in a 3-match ODI series when everyone was basically just after that 0 of 3. People were like, oh, Kohli, maybe is he in the right state of mind? And even after this, is he in the right state of mind? But then he kind of seems to just play a great innings in the next one, and that's why I'm saying that I think that everyone's just really overreacting. Okay, you could say his dismissals are fidgety, but I honestly don't think that it's worth all this reaction where it's kind of a seesaw where if he gets a 50, people say, why didn't he get 100? And or rather, it's a shame he didn't get 100, but people still say, well played at least, but some do. But and then if he gets out for a low score, people are like, oh, he isn't in the right space. I just think it's a bit of an overreaction. So yeah, that's on him. I actually think that, personally for me, I actually really like seeing Kohli bat when now, especially in the last few games when he isn't captain. I know, I just think that, yeah, he actually looks 3 years younger for me. And it's not like there was anything bad before, but yeah, I actually think that it's a really there's kind of a different feeling seeing Kohli but without really being in the leadership role at all. I think before kind of he became ODI captain in 2017, there was a case where you could say the previous performances were working up to that. So I think that, yeah, he was kind of in the leadership role. But now, since he's not in the leadership role, I actually think that, yeah, I actually really enjoy watching him bat. I just think that, yeah, there's something different which you wouldn't have seen before. And so Rishabh Pant got out in a very unlucky way. I think it was off Ajari as the ball hit his finger. And then 11 off 9, he got run out at the bowler's end. And Suryakumar Yadav honestly proved exactly why I think that... I said in a previous video, Shreyas Iyer should be in the plans. I still think he should. But for me, KL Rahul should open the batting. And in that case, if you have in an ODI side, KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Rishabh Pant and Suryakumar Yadav at number 5, and if you've seen that he doesn't actually take too much time to get going. At number 5, if Hardik Pandya comes back, which I hope he does, with him at number 6, it's a perfect batting lineup. And so yeah, I actually think him at number 5. I think he proved today exactly why. And also in that last game against South Africa, he proved exactly why. Look, I think he has to be there at number 5. And Deepak Hooda, 26 off 32, he did well. He didn't bowl today. And I'm just thinking, look, right, would you say his bowling is worth kind of a for an all-rounder, would you say you'd count his bowling and that's it? Maybe, 2-3 overs at most. But apart from that, you kind of regard him more as a batsman. So I'm actually intrigued to see how they're going to actually... They've given him a debut, but I'm saying that it's interesting to see how things are going to go from here. Because if they wanted to fill the role... If they wanted to fill that kind of role, someone who can give you a few overs, I'm not really sure it's going to work. Because if you didn't bowl him in this pitch against this opposition, and it's not about the quality of the opposition, it's the quality of the fact that it's the thing, the fact that they do struggle against the slower bowlers, and again, especially against the spinners, then when are you going to actually bowl him? So yeah, that was on that. And yeah, India winning this game 178 for 4 and winning this game quite easily. And the West Indies bowlers they didn't really have the greatest of days. I mean, rather, it was a bit kind of easy for India to get these runs. I know you could say, Rohit Sharma said, I think it wasn't a perfect game, which in the bat you could say it wasn't, but they were only chasing 176. Would Kohli have kind of, look, he tried to just take the bowling on straight away because, especially the second shot, because the second boundary rather, because he just thought there weren't many runs to get. I don't think he would have done that if there was kind of a bigger chase. You saw in that third ODI how well he played. I don't think he would have done that. And so yeah, look, you can honestly allow that bit of scrappiness in the batting because it's 176. But yeah, India won in the end. And about this series now, the next two ODIs are in the same location. And at the same time, and I actually think the series that we had in 2019, that was kind of a bit, the reason why it was so lively, and I think I'm not sure I think in that time it was Hetmeyer and Hetmeyer and Shai Hope especially. I can't remember the series when Shai Hope and Nicholas Puran scored 75, but he did do it against India, an ODI series in India, and those kind of times when the pitches were good and really it was kind of a runs fest. And I think that that was the best way for the series to be really competitive. I think that the problem is if you kind of put onto surfaces that aren't really that great for batting, I think that because the West Indies don't necessarily play spin very well, it was always going to be difficult for them, especially. I personally think batting first made the job even harder. And yeah, it's just kind of. I'm just thinking that if the other two games go kind of conditions are the same as this, and pretend if even in one of those two games West Indies have to bat first again, I hope they kind of I hope they do better than they did. But I'm saying that yeah, I feel like the series would have been more competitive if they kind of put it on the flatter wickets where both sides would have the I'd say it would kind of make the series more even. Whereas the problem is, in this case, West Indies cricket is kind of in transition, and I just think that putting in something which they're not really that great at playing in these kinds of surfaces with the bat in hand, yeah, I just think that it's quite a tough test for them. And again, based on the first ODI, I hope the next ODIs aren't like the first ODI. Based on what I saw in the first ODI, yeah, it's looking quite difficult for them. And so yeah, that's on this video. I'm not writing them off because look, honestly, if India had won in South Africa, I may have even been slightly been wanting West Indies to win this series. Certainly the other two series I wanted West Indies to win. Not that I don't like India, but at that point, it's kind of like I just feel like West Indies are a team that you always want to do well. And so if you saw kind of, especially the batting kind of really the stars that rose from the other kind of the series. If you look at Shea Hood's performance, Hetmyer and Puran, I think that those happened when there were more batting friendly tracks. And so yeah, that's just on that, where I hope that the series can be the games can be more competitive in the last two ODIs, but I wouldn't be surprised if it follows a similar theme to this. And so yeah, that's on that. The thing is that the next ODI starts tomorrow, and I'm looking to make an IPO video before the 12th. I actually didn't think that everyone would start making videos kind of at least a week or week and a half before the auction actually starts. And yeah, I think that considering that, I may have to make the video on, I think, the 10th. Yeah, so yeah, that's on that. And yeah, that's for this game. So if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, and please share the video with your friends. And remember, this is my opinion. What's yours?